like this. So what we want to do is to take the cabbage and to cut it up into bits like this. And that's very, very easy to do. And take that and just bung that in here. Now, what else goes into this soup is these Chinese mushrooms. They're very nice, they come dry, and what you do with them is you soak them in warm water for about 20 minutes. They will sort of fluff up, and you want to squeeze the water out. Now, if you're a vegetarian, you can use this water as a stock, and it has a lot of flavor, but what you have to do is just reduce it down a little bit to concentrate its flavor. Now, once you've squeezed all the water out, you have the stem which you want to cut out, and this is what it looks like, right like that. It's a bit hard, like the core of the cabbage, and it's unfortunately it's not very good, and it's a bit chewy, so you just want to cut that out. And what we want to do with the mushrooms is to take it and just cut it up into nice shreds like this. The wonderful thing about these mushrooms is they have a great deal of flavor. So actually they're ideal for vegetarian cooking because they have a nice texture and a nice bite to them. Also, to flavor the soup, we're going to use a little bit of ham. And all you need is a tiny piece like this. And you want to take it and sort of cut it into slices first, like that. And then you want to cut that into, sort of line them up, and then cut them into small shreds. And they will subtly flavor the cabbage soup and actually make it quite interesting and delicious. So I'll put that in there, and I'll go over and start our soup. Now this soup is very interesting because we're going to do an unusual method, and it's called double steaming. We set up a steamer in the wok, and what I want to do is take a heat-proof casserole, any type of soup tureen that is heat-proof, and you want to set that on top. Now, this method we Chinese call double steaming. The Chinese use it because it prevents evaporation, and also it cooks the ingredients very subtly, and it works beautifully. Take the Chinese cabbage, put that inside the tureen as I'm doing here. Pour in some hot stock. Now, if you're a vegetarian, you can use vegetarian stock and just simply leave out the ham, and you will have a very nice vegetarian version of this dish. Okay, that's in there. And sprinkle on the ham. And finally, the mushroom. And this is quite beautiful because the mushroom will add a nice smoky flavor to the soup. And a little bit of salt, pepper, just a few grindings of the white pepper here, and a touch of rice wine. And you can use dry sherry, but rice wine will lend a nice fragrant aroma to the soup, and it's really worth getting. Some spring onions. The spring onions that I'm adding are whole rather than chopped because I'm going to steam this for 1.5 hours. So I don't want this to disintegrate, so that's why I'm putting in the spring onions whole. And some slices of peeled ginger. Just 4 is plenty. And finally, just a little dash of sesame oil, maybe about 2 teaspoons, and that is fine. And I'm going to take that and cover it with a plastic wrap, like this. And then cover the wok and let that steam gently for about 1.5 hours. The nice thing about the soup is you can make it ahead of time, and it reheats very well. And now it's done. It's been cooking, steaming like this for 1.5 hours. And be very careful when you're taking off the plastic wrap because it's quite hot. So it's just like if you were reheating something in the microwave. You just want to be quite careful. And what you want to do is slowly peel this off as I'm doing here. And I could just smell that. It is absolutely delicious smelling, and it looks so beautiful. And that's double steamed cabbage soup. Today I'm visiting the fishing port of Whitby on the edge of the Yorkshire Moors. The weather is beautiful and the harbor is so full of life with a really busy fishing fleet. They export lobster and crab from here to places as far away as Hong Kong. I've come to meet fisherman Joe Storr and his wife Sue, who sells his catch from a harbor stall. Hi Sue, how are you?
Ken, I'm fine,
How are you doing? This is Mary.
Hello,
Hi, your
Ken.
sister. How are you doing? What have you got here today?
Oh, we've got plenty of things on today. We have nice fresh crab, fresh
Yes.
from the North Sea, prawns. We have our fresh rolled herrings that we do our own, rolled and baked in the oven.
Fantastic.
Kippers, fresh smoked.
And these
Yeah.
crabs,
They
this
are.
one is what?
This one's the male.
A male
this
crab.
one,
How can
yeah.
you tell it's a male crab?
Well, the male have a small apron, look.
Yes.
Yeah, where the female, this is the female,
Right.
they have the large apron.
Can you buy crabs live?
You can, yes. My husband's off now actually catching them.
Oh,
So
really?
he should be landing later. Yeah, you'll see some nice
Maybe we could
live
talk to him
ones
about
then.
getting some live ones.
I'm sure you could.
And
Yeah.
how do you usually cook it or eat it?
We boil it. We kill them first. We're cruel. We kill them first and scrub them clean, and then we boil them for about 20 minutes
In salted water?
in
or?
salted water. Yeah.
You don't put anything like garlic or...
No, nothing in them. Yeah, we're very plain as English.
Do you like garlic?
I've never tried garlic.
You never tried it?
Never tried it.
Well, this will be a first time.
First for everything, isn't there?
I decided to cook crab Singapore style, so we needed a few more things. Well, Sue, you know, I think it's really wonderful that you can go to your local supermarket now to get any type of exotic Chinese ingredients. I bet we have ginger here. Oh, right here. Look at that. This nice
Lovely.
ginger.
Yeah.
That's really nice, and when we buy it, we want to make sure that it's firm.
How do you
like
tell
that.
whether it's
Yes,
firm?
it's really
fresh?
firm. Something I'm going to be using is this coconut milk. For instance, this is something that you can just sort of buy, and it's really lovely. Let's go get some garlic because I think that's really an essential part of this recipe. Oh, there's lots of different things. Now, you said you like curry, right?
That's right.
Okay. Well, this is a very nice, it's sort of, you don't have to use a lot of it, but it's a medium hot Madras curry paste. And
Yeah.
this is widely available. I think I've seen it in supermarkets everywhere.
I tend to buy a medium. You
Yes.
know, it's hot enough. Joe
Oh.
doesn't like it too hot.
Okay.
I like mine hot, but he likes it more medium.
So that's perfect for
That's
you.
perfect,
Okay.
yeah.
And I think that there's all sorts of choices too. I think what's really interesting is that all these things are just here if you need them, but you just have to look for them.
it.
Like even lemongrass. Have you heard of lemongrass?
No, I haven't, no.
You know, it's
No,
actually...
I've never noticed that
Yes,
before.
lemongrass, you can buy them fresh. I'll show you what they look like fresh, but they also come like this in a brine, which is very nice too. It's not sort of the same fresh flavor, but it's acceptable. You probably buy your crab ready cooked, but I prefer to use a live one if I can get it. So I went to see Sue's husband, Joe. How are you, Joe?
All right, Ken. Not so bad, how are you still?
Wow, what have we got here today? Beautiful crabs.
Yeah.
Are they really moving? And
Yeah, they're well alive, them,
Oh,
okay.
that's fantastic.
The beautiful crabs, yeah.
How about one of this and another she one? How's this one here?
Yeah. You'll be better off with...
This one's nice.
That'll be a better one, Ken.
Yes. How can you tell which is the better one?
By weight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because it's
yeah.
heavy.
It's very heavy.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
very heavy.
yeah, yeah.
Is this a good one?
It's a happy medium.
Well, I like the big claws.
Yeah.
After boiling the crab for a few minutes, it is ready to be cleaned. And what we like to do is to open up the crab. Ah, there it goes. It takes a little bit of a... Okay, just open that up. We want to save the shell, so just let the liquid go like this. See all this? Gives really nice crab flavor, so we want to keep all that. Okay, just... And what we want to do here, if you come look here,
You take the dead man's fingers
yes,
off.
that's right.
Okay.
This is the lungs of the crab, which is no good, so we want to take that off. And we take the cleaver, just chop it like this into 4. Okay. This is where the cleaver is very helpful. Okay, we just take that. And what the Chinese do is we keep the shell, and also we take the shell like this, and we crush it, you see, so that it's cracked. This way, all the flavors of what I'm going to stir fry with will will come through. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a great way to get out your aggression after a hard day of fishing.
Yeah.
And you just continue doing that. Okay. Okay. Now we're ready to cook this. Now, what we want to do is, have either of you ever cooked in a wok before?
No.
Huh?
No.
Proper what? No, we do curries, but more in a,
Really?
in a big pan.
But you never used a wok before?
No.
No.
And the secret to really good wok cooking is to get it really hot before you start to cook, because it's very different from English cooking. What I'm using here is a little bit of groundnut oil. See, what you want to do is take the oil and swirl it all over like what I'm doing here. And we want to get this very hot. The hotter it gets, the better, okay? Now this is a Singapore style crab curry that I'm going to make for you. It's very, very easy. We start out with some garlic, lots of garlic. Now, I know that Sue, actually you've never had garlic.
No, I've never tried it.
You've never
fancied
tried it. Well, it's very, very good for you. And a little bit of shredded ginger. Remember
Yeah.
the ginger
I
that
like
we had at
ginger.
the market?
Joe likes the garlic, I
Okay.
like the ginger.
Onion, just regular onion, finely sliced also. Okay. Oh, it's nice to cook with all this wind here. And a little bit of this spring onions. Okay. And you know spring onions, they're really,
Yes,
really
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just going to let that cook for a minute until it's nicely brown. Now you notice I haven't added more oil, so don't add more oil. What you
No.
want to do is cook this until it browns. Okay, what we're going to do is just let that stir fry. And you see I'm moving it back and forth. Now, as that is cooking, I'm going to show you this herb called lemongrass. This is what it looks like fresh. And Sue and I went to the market and got some from the jar, which is in a brine like this. And if you can't find the fresh ones, you can use these ones from the brine and the jar. They're acceptable. What you want to do with the lemongrass is, if it's bits outside that are not good, you just peel it. Smell it. Can you smell that? Smell that?
Yeah. Oh, really lemony.
I mean,
now,
that's really
that, isn't
lemony,
it? Yeah.
huh? That's really
Yeah,
lemony.
Very.
So what we want to do is just crush it like this.
Yeah.
All right? As you can see, using the cleaver is really helpful. Now we want to stir fry this over high heat, and you see it's cooking. It's getting very, very aromatic. Add the lemongrass. Okay, we stir fry this around. Continue to cook this. Now I'm going to ask Joe to give me the crab, please. Okay, super. And what we do is, because all this meat is very good, also gives flavor to, to the whole dish. We want to keep that. So even with the whole shell, we put that in here. See, this is more the Asian way, the Chinese way of eating crab, because we like to eat it with our hands. Thank you, Joe. Okay, we take that, stir fry this around. We just let that cook. See how beautiful that looks already. Now, I want to add some coconut milk. And that's really wonderful. Do you remember we were able to buy it in a tin at the supermarket?
Right, yeah.
And
How much of coconut milk do you put in there?
well, just enough to cover it. Okay, this is just enough to cover it, just to give it a liquid to keep it nice and moist. And what we're going to do here is add a little bit of this curry paste, and this is a medium hot one, so we just want to add not too much. Okay, since Joe doesn't like it too hot, we'll just add just a little bit. All right. That's hot enough?
Yeah.
Okay. And remember, when you're adding curry like this, always add a pinch of sugar. That moderates the heat. So what happens, you have a nice balance of flavor, just a little bit of sugar.
I remember
a
that
bit
from
of
my
salt.
curries as well.
Yes,
then.
that's right.
Same in curries as well.
Yes, anytime you have anything hot, spicy, add a little bit of sugar, and that moderates it very, very nicely. Now you see how that looks. I'm mixing it. And don't forget, since we've cracked this, you see the crack here, how it's cracked?
Yeah.
All the flavors of that will seep into the crab. All right? I'm going to cover it and let it cook for about 10 minutes. Oh, I think it's done now. Look at that.
Smells delicious.
We'll put this on the side here. How's it smell?
I smell the curry coming
Yes.
through. I think it's
Even
overtook the garlic,
Yes.
which is good for me.
No. Even with all that garlic, huh? Because
Smell
garlic
more curry, yeah.
is quite different when you cook it. Okay, look at this, how beautiful this looks. I can see Joe salivating. Joe, I'm gonna give you a taste of this. Okay, what's a good, there's a good one right there. You might have to let it cool a little bit. Here, you can just have a, okay. And you could just suck up them.
Nice, look.
Do you like it? Is it too strong?
No.
Dip it in the sauce a little bit.
Might have been better just a bit stronger.
Oh, you could have had a bit
Yeah, a
stronger.
bit
Okay, next
stronger,
time we'll
yeah.
make a bit stronger. See? See? It tastes as
He
good.
tells
But
me
how
he
does it
doesn't like
taste?
it strong.
Very nice.
Yes?
Yeah.
You like
Good.
it? Okay, we'll give you a nice piece here.
Oh,
How
that's
about
a nice
that?
piece. Look, dare I try this garlic?
Yeah.
Nice.
Is it very good?
Nice, yeah.
Are you convinced?
Very nice. Crab's nice and moist.
Yes, it's nice and moist
Really
and
nice.
it really tastes.
It is.
Do you like the flavor of the sauce?
Yeah, it's not.
Would you
it's
like
not
a hotter?
too strong. No, it's just nice. I like it like that.
Singapore style curry crab for lovers of garlic everywhere. My tip of the week is how to peel and chop garlic with a Chinese cleaver. Very simple. You take the cleaver and with the side of the cleaver, just lightly tap on it like this. And what happens is the peel comes right off. You again take the cleaver and just sort of smash it like this and then chop it very quickly. And in seconds, you have chopped garlic. This dessert is so easy that I can even do it sitting down. Now, first you want to heat up a wok, and this time I'm using a non-stick wok because I'm going to cook some fruits in it. Now, this recipe was inspired by my love of English summer pudding. You start out with just a little bit of water. You bring that to a boil. Add some sugar. And the amount that you add depends how sweet you would like it. And I'm going to add some vanilla beans, 1 vanilla bean. And I have my vanilla bean kept in sugar because it keeps the vanilla bean drier and also flavors my sugar. Once this starts getting very, very hot, I'm going to start off with some strawberries because they're a firmer type of berry. And this is just to really warm them up so that their full flavor comes out. And then I'm going to add some blueberries, which are so colorful and lovely. Just take that and just mix that a little bit. You don't want to overcook them because I don't want these to turn into a stew. And finally, a little bit of raspberry. Now, you don't have to use these types of berries. You can vary them according to the types of berries that you particularly like. And just a little bit of butter. And that sort of enriches the sauce and just give it a taste. If you're worried, about butter, you can omit it, but I think it adds a nice flavor to things. And finally, a little bit of an unusual touch, some basil leaves. And they're really nice. They're very aromatic and gives a nice flavor to the whole compote. Now there it's done. Turn off my heat. And I'll put it here to show you how beautiful that looks. It looks really divine, and if you really feel that you've been good and eating in a healthy way, you can eat this with some vanilla ice cream, and the hot and cold is absolutely marvelous. That's warm berry compote with basil.
I said, this is a lovely time of the year here.
Yes. My guest this week is a man I greatly admire, who spent 5 years as a hostage in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Now a free man, he seeks occasional sanctuary in Trinity Hall, Cambridge, which is where I went to cook for Terry Waite.
I spent 5 years, almost all of that time, was alone, and I was chained up, sitting like this actually, chained to a wall, in a dark environment, damp, miserable, and the food, you had to see it to believe it, and eat it to believe it. It wasn't good. And one day I said to my guard, I said, look, can't you vary this diet a bit? I mean, he'd bring me a piece of bread or a bit of lebni, which is like a yogurt, not much else. So I said, what have you got in the kitchen? He said, well, we've got potatoes. I said, I know, make a baked potato. So he said, baked potato, how do you do that? So I instructed him, get the potato, bake it, cut it in half, put some cheese in it, that sort of. So he did, and he did it, and he followed my instructions. There was I blindfolded, chained up, instructing the guard on how to bake potato, and he actually produced it. And he brought it late at night, this single baked potato. And it really tasted very, very good.
What are some of your favorite Chinese dishes?
I would say Szechuan food, hot food.
You love that hot, spicy...
I do. Perhaps that's because my taste isn't as subtle as it ought to be. But I like something that will have a real spicy... I'm very fond of spices, very fond of herbs and spices. And so I think Szechuan food is one of my real favourite foods.
Well, good, because I'm going to make you something very spicy then. This is a Burmese chicken, which is... Burmese cooking is sort of like a cross between Chinese and Vietnamese, and it's really nice. What we start out with are some chicken thighs, which I merely put some salt and pepper on, and I'm just going to, since you're here, and you do like to cook, I'm going to ask you to help me by holding that for a minute.
Right?
Yes, thank you. And I'm just going to heat up the wok. That's the thing about the wok. You need to heat it up before you add the oil, and you must get it really, really hot. You just add a little bit of oil. You don't need a lot of oil. And you take that and swirl this all around. But just make sure it's really hot. That's what you have to remember. Now, chicken thighs are really nice. And actually, they have more flavor than the breast meat, I think. Okay, we get it really hot there. And we want to brown this very, very well.
Do you know, Ken, this is my first experience of ever cooking with a wok.
Really?
First time. It's genuinely.
Yes. It's actually a lot of fun because the wok makes a lot of sense.
I was going to say, what's the difference between a wok and a frying pan?
Well, the thing is, obviously with sloping sides, you can cook and you can also move things around. As you can see later when we start to stir fry, how important it is because you're constantly moving the food because the heat is right there in the center. And if you don't have these deep sides, of course the flat will splatter around. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes some people are concerned about, oil splattering around. So what you could do is just put the cover on there, but you must slightly cock it like this. Otherwise, the chicken will start to steam, and you don't want that.
Right. Make it sweat.
Exactly. You see, you're already quite good. You know the technical terms.
I sometimes sweat vegetables.
Yes. I'm going to ask you to give me that bowl here.
Okay. Well.
Okay, and I'm just going to see. What makes this healthy is I'm getting rid of all the fat.
And you're using a wooden spatula?
Yes. Well, this is a wooden tongs, actually.
Wooden tongs?
Yes.
Wooden tongs,
to just take out all the chicken. And you see all this fat? We take that and discard it.
Right.
So that's what makes it healthy. We get rid of that.
Okay,
and put the wok back on and get it very, very hot again. And this is where the action starts now.
Okay.
Okay. What we do is start with onions. Now, in lots of cooking with the wok, you always start out with very aromatic ingredients, and that's very important. That means onions and garlic. You take that and stir fry this around. The garlic, lemongrass, and the ginger.
Ginger I like.
Oh, ginger is wonderful. As you can see, there's very little oil in here. Now, can you see that?
Very little.
Come look at that. That's
almost dry.
Yes, it's almost dry. Now, most people...
it's smelling good, too.
Yes, but the mistake they make, Terry, is they panic. They say, it's drying, I better add more oil. Never add more oil. What you want to do is add a little bit of water to this. You see that? So it doesn't make it fat or greasy.
That is the key tip, isn't
yes,
it?
That is. Absolutely.
Now, I would have made the mistake by adding oil.
Yes, your instinct would say add more oil, right? Because you saw it so dry. Now, we're just going to add a little bit of this wonderful Madras curry powder. A little bit of turmeric. And some soy sauce, you see, that's very
and this isn't
flavor.
A violently hot curry powder?
No, it isn't violently hot. Probably not hot enough for you. I can add always a little more for you.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know about you, but when I make something, I always... You do that?
I'll do that, yeah.
Yes. It's hot enough. I think you'll be happy.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can see what this looks like now. See, it's cooking and it's all wonderfully
It's beginning to smell really
right.
delicious.
And what we want to do is take the drained chicken and return it to the pan, the wok. And then we're going to cover it and then cook it until it's done. And this will take approximately about 20, 25 minutes. And that's important because a chicken you want especially to cook it thoroughly.
Right.
So what we want to do now is just cover, and there's, as you can see, there's not a lot of liquid, and what will happen is the liquid will cook off, and this will be sort of a rather dry type of curry, which is what you see a lot in Southeast Asia. And so we just cover that.
And wait. You know, there are a number of stories about food in captivity, and there's one which is a bit gruesome. Really, it was told to me by Terry Anderson. Terry Anderson,
Yes.
of course, was the American hostage, AP journalist. And the food they got in the early days was absolutely awful. And one day, he said, the guard knocked on the door, and he came in the room and he put a big pot down like that. Went out of the room, and of course, the hostages took their blindfold off, took the lid off the pot, and there, looking at them, was a whole sheep's head, with the wool as well. I mean, there it was, just looking at them. And then they had to crack a joke. They said, well, it had got the eyes in, at least it would see us through the week.
Here comes the great moment, and
We're
it's
gonna
very easy.
You're going to see what...
There it is.
Brother.
It looks lovely, all cooked. And you see how everything has sort of dissolved into a wonderful, aromatic, enticing mix. Can you smell that?
I can indeed. And here, standing in the garden at Trinity Hall, I mean, it smells absolutely marvellous. Absolutely wonderful. I think it's about the best meal that's ever been cooked here.
Well, Terry, I would serve this Burmese chicken curry with a little bit of plain rice and a nice salad.
Well, Ken, it certainly looks very good. Let me just try. Here we are. A little bit of this chicken. Ah, that's delicious.
Not too spicy for you.
Not too spicy. Lovely flavour of spices. Good chicken and really nice boiled rice. Thank you, Ken. It's lovely.